So of course the Supra's back and we already got some work to do to it. Some minor stuff, just some little attention to detail stuff, but it'll make the car a lot better. What's going on, guys? Kevin here, back again with the Six Streets YouTube channel. If you've never been on the channel before, be sure to subscribe, like the video, share everything you see on the channel, and just enjoy all the content that's coming in the future. And for those of you who have already been here, welcome back and hope you enjoy the video. Now today we got a little minor touch-up to do to the Supra, and that's as far as our coil pack setup. We got a bracket, and that's what we're going to be starting this video with right here. Redline Tuning. Ordered this on eBay. I could drop the link in the description for you guys, and as you see, we got nothing on it right now. As for those of you who don't know, we swapped our coil packs to an Audi R8 ignition setup. We're going to be rearranging the coils a bit in the harness, since the holes for this go the opposite direction than they were mounted. So just gonna have to change that up a little bit, and it'll give the car a much more nice finished look. Got the new hardware and everything for the what used to be the stock spark plug cover, so I'm going to replace these bolts you see right here to make it look a little prettier. To put the old OEM hardware, not old but new OEM hardware. And after this, I got a little tech tip for you guys, for those of you looking to do a digital dash on your vehicles. I know, of course, digital dash is very expensive but also very functional, so it does help a lot. And sometimes you either might not be willing to spend $1,000 on some gauges, and if you are willing to spend $1,000, you might still have a lot of other priorities, how it happened to me, to take care of on the car, especially in my case, suspension. I really need to do suspension. I'll get into that in a different video, but we'll be going over that shortly. But for now, let's just do this little coil pack cover, make the car look pretty, and we'll get to the tech stuff after. So of course this is not going to be a very difficult install or anything by any means. This is extremely straightforward. As you'll see, R8 coils do not need any bolts holding them in place. However, we got this bracket. You see, it's like a little suction mount that you pull out and then just push it back in when you need them on the car. But we just got this bracket so that, as you'll see here, instead of just having it just floating freely, it'll have something to go into. And then this bracket is at least gripping the rubber piece a little bit, so it does serve its function, and it does make the car a lot prettier. Instead of having this bare, you would have the whole spark plug valley covered. What mainly bothered me about the way it looked is just how you see my valve covers are kind of shiny on the outside, and then it kind of loses the shine on the inside. So that was the whole reasoning behind this. And as you see, it does hold them in place. It is very functional. So we're gonna disconnect. So we're gonna disconnect the rest of the harness, just so we can rearrange and then just reconnect after. Yeah, these chains do the job, but they're just uglier. So we'll be replacing them with the Allens. Damn, well, unfortunately the Allens we have here are not long enough, so we'll have to stick with the 10s. Or actually, I'll go inside and check, because I know I have a couple of longer Allens sitting. I'll check if maybe they can work for this. For now, let's place those for the sake of presentation. And let's make these hold this thing down. All done with that, let's put our coils. All right, now just rearrange the harness. 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, so this is the finished product of our bracket. Looks much cleaner. I just got to figure out a way to give the harness a little bit more slack. Maybe cut the zip tie, put another one, move it backward. Maybe get rid of this little sleeve, maybe get rid of this here, and then just tape up back here. Something to give it a little more slack, because I don't really like what it's doing back there, but it does look way better, 100%. I just got to go try find these. Had to end up putting back the old 10s, even if they're not really as nice, just so it's actually functional. And well, yeah, now gonna add our old cap back on. And there, fully functional bracket, looks good, pretty cheap, about 120 bucks for the bracket, and the setup is still overall way cheaper than 1ZZ and LS coils, including the price of the coils, the bracket, the harness. So I'm still really pleased with what this setup has done for me, and also now what it looks like. So now with this out of the way, and I'm extremely satisfied with the result. It looks freaking beautiful to me, at least. I love it. I don't know about what you guys, comment what you think down below. But now let's get into the techie stuff. Okay, so here we have a Lenovo Smart Tab M8. Gonna start firing it up already. So you see, as this boots up, you're gonna see I have this magnetic mount that we're gonna 3M tape right here in the center with my Speedo intact, which my Speedo's working intermittently. If anybody has had this problem before in a Mark III Supra, please let me know. You can't see it too much, but in here I do have a CAN to OBD2 cable from Haltech. I will put the part number in the description, so you guys can probably do this for yourselves. And then I have an Amazon generic OBD2 Bluetooth adapter all tucked away in there. The bracket does not really let you see. Right, so you guys get the picture. We got our OBD2 Bluetooth adapter with the Haltech cable. Now we're going to install this thing, which comes with some 3M tape on the back, right? It's 10 magnets. Place it right here. So I got two apps here, Torque Pro and Racing Meter for Torque Pro. Right, so you have Torque Pro here, which usually has all this real-time information. You can set this up to whatever you like it to be. We got boost, coolant. I haven't really messed with it too much, but as you see, reads throttle, reads obviously acceleration, RPMs. The car's not on, but let's see what it does with RPM. You see it's getting a pretty accurate reading on RPMs, but as you see, we have a bunch of different stuff. 0 to 60 times, quarter mile, eighth mile. Can be sort of a draggy for you on a budget. Right, so you see it is getting throttle response and everything on here. And you see, for a budget little device, this is freaking great. Right, so we also have Racing Meter, right? You open this app and you get a much nicer display of gauges. See RPMs and everything. All right, so this is where we were having issues. Speed should be in mile per hour. That's where our temps were wrong. It needs to be Fahrenheit. Pressure, we're gonna do PSI, of course. Power, horsepower. There we have water temp. Okay, it's a little slow on response. Maybe driving around it should be a little better. So as you see, we even got the lights working. Put this up here and you'll see what I mean. It's turning on a little soon, but that's pretty cool. So we'll see what we can do with this thing to make it set up a little bit better, and then we'll go for a test drive. Okay, let's see how these shift lights work. This is the main feature I wanted in the car, as well as fuel pressure monitoring. Fuel pressure was a big thing for me. Oil pressure was another big factor for me. However, unfortunately, we cannot add oil pressure to the Torque Pro app, so that would have to be done later down the line, when I get an actual display, or with any oil pressure gauge, or if somehow I get this one working. Okay, I set my threshold to 95%. The shift light is still at at 4,000. I'm not really sure why. It's still pretty cool though. I'll try get up in the higher RPM and see what it tells me. Nah. Don't mind me. Okay, it's still doing the same thing. The same thing. I'm gonna try something and then see if maybe I come back to this a little bit afterward, but for now that's a no. Hopefully I get the shift light working, because it's nice that I have fuel pressure IAT. It's just if I get this right, this thing's perfect. All right guys, so we just got done filling up some E85. As you see, just finished up at the pump. Now I got some good news. Start her up, but we figured out the shift light. We figured out exactly how to set that, so I am going to show you guys how to do that right now. We can start up. Okay, let's open Torque Pro. Make sure it connects. All right, it's already counting revs. Sure. Okay, so what you do, go here. Well, back to display. Hold. Go preferences. Camera's not really close enough. Okay, so here you're gonna go all the way to LED bars, shift light, and now what you're gonna play with, make sure automatic threshold is turned off. Okay, that's first thing. And the other thing is what you're gonna play with. You're not gonna play with min and max threshold. What you're gonna play with to get it exactly where you want is, again, make sure automatic is shut off, because these are for the LEDs, the minimum and max. But then the shift light is something else. The whole screen lights up. Have automatic threshold off, and then set your RPM threshold right here. I have it at 66 because at 64, 65, I notice I lose a little bit of boost. So I'm doing 66, and then if I'm really trying to put a gap on somebody, I'll hold a little bit after the light comes on. So that's the way we're gonna run this. And now you guys will see it in action as we leave the gas station. All right, so now you're gonna see it in action. Of course, our RPM count is pretty accurate when the engine is already in a higher gear, like second, third, fourth. However, there is a little bit of latency. So when you're in first gear and the engine revs up kind of quick, you will notice it's not necessarily fast enough to keep up. So I will try to get one of the Wi-Fi adapters that are faster and eliminate some of that latency. But you're gonna see right now just how good this thing is. Let's try it right here. Shift light. There we go. So there you see it. She moves and it works. So with that being said, we figured out exactly what we needed to figure out. That's a great way to round off the video. Thanks so much for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, stay tuned for a lot more, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.